You know those sculptures that when you look at them from one perspective, they look like something, and then you look at it from another perspective and it looks like something completely different? I want to show you how this phenomenon can actually happen with your data and how one variable can change the entire story. So today, I want to go through three different things. Number one, what is Simpson's paradox? And we're going to use this paradox to help us understand and very clearly illustrate why one variable can really change the entire story. Second, I want to give some real world examples of this phenomenon. And lastly, I want to show you four different things that you can take away so you can avoid being misled by others or avoid misleading others. If you're new to the channel, my name is Matt and I've been working with data for almost 5 years now, so I've been able to see how numbers can very easily get twisted. I'm here to help you spot these traps and make smarter decisions with your data. I want to start with a very simple example. Imagine we're running an A/B test and we want to understand which ad is performing better, ad A or ad B. Out of the 110 clicks that ad B got, 28% of them converted, versus on ad A, it was about 17%. So when you're looking at the data like this, I think it's pretty clear. Ad B is just better. Now, if I told you that that was completely false, I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't even believe myself, to be honest. And if anybody would have told me that, that sounds like it makes no sense. I mean, it's very clear. 28% ad B, 17% ad A. How could ad A be in any way better? If you slice this information by the type of device that the ad was shown on, like desktop or mobile, you can very clearly see that it was very much ad A that was better than ad B. So in the desktop section, 4 out of the 10 people that were shown this converted for ad A, and then it was 30 out of 100 for ad B. So in that case, it's very clear desktop did better. Then when you look at mobile, you also see that 15 out of 100 converted, so 15%, and only 1 out of 10 converted for ad B. But when you aggregate this to the higher level, you end up seeing that ad B is better than ad A. This is a phenomenon called Simpson's paradox. And if we read the definition, it's pretty clear. It's a phenomenon where a trend appears in several groups of data, but it disappears or reverses when the groups are combined. This is a really worrying thing because it's so compelling to say, in this case, that ad B was better than ad A, but if you dive a little bit deeper, you end up seeing that's completely wrong. And this can happen in many different cases. So I was talking with ChatGPT the other day and I was trying to ask it for some real world examples of the Simpsons paradox. And I found this website which is talking about a case where the University of Berkeley was sued for sex discrimination in 1973. You can see here the grad school was accepting 44% of male applicants and only 35% of female applicants. So again, at the high level, this is pretty concerning. Why are they accepting more men than women? That looks like it could be discrimination. However, this website does a really good job at showing you how it's kind of misleading. So when they broke out these statistics by department, you can see something pretty interesting. So here, for example, we can see for Department A, 82% of women were accepted versus 62% of men being accepted. So in this case, Department A, it looks like there was no discrimination here against women. And then if you look at the other departments, you can see B was again more women, C was pretty tight between both of them, D was also pretty tight, E was tight, F was tight. I'm not seeing anything discriminatory here. However, when you combine everything, you can see a very interesting trend, which is out of all the women, 30% were being chosen versus out of all the men, 46% were being chosen. So what's happening here? Well, this is happening because there's a different share of women in different departments versus the share of men in different departments, which is why it's super important that you slice your data on relevant variables. Having been in a very data-focused environment for the past 5 years, I've come up with 4 different ways that really help me make sure I'm not being misled by any of the things I was talking about today. The first thing is you should always ask yourself, are there any variables that I should be including in this analysis? If you're talking about ski vacation trips, okay, you should be maybe looking at different months of the year because the behavior in January is going to be different in August. And it could be interesting to look at the differences in those behaviors. So yeah, first thing is what other variables could be confounding this analysis. The second thing is to take the time to slice your data by these different variables. So if you're suspecting that maybe there's different behaviors by race or sex or age, slice your data and look at it. Third thing I would say, and this is something that I'm going to mention a lot on this channel, is dive deep into your data. EDA, exploratory data analysis. I have a hard time saying it, but it's super important to take the time, all the time that you need to gather the data, understand it, talk to people that know the data better, get a good understanding of it, dive deep, take the time. I'm saying a bunch of these words, but it's really, really important that you don't rush this part. Put some music on, have a nice snack, get some coffee, or block some time in your calendar. It's really important to do this, and I can't stress this part enough. For this last one, this is the one that took me a lot of time to actually figure out, because I'm someone that really likes to do things kind of on my own. I don't really like asking for help. So this fourth tip is basically saying, talk to the expert. If you're in a field and you're a year into the job or a year into this analysis or research, and you know that there's somebody that knows a lot about maybe the pricing component of what you're looking at, or like this A/B test, or they know a lot about the data source that you're using, talk to them. The reason I was shying away from doing that is because I felt like I didn't want to bother people, but I've always found that people are super excited to actually help you, especially when it's on something that they really are, that they know a lot, so it gets them to feel valued, and they're always happy to answer. Second, it also just gets you to have a better connection with these people, and they're going to get to know you better, you're going to get to know them better, and that's just going to make things a lot easier moving forward. And lastly, it's just going to make things a lot faster. Sometimes it's good to, like I'm saying, to dive deep into the data, but do you really need to spend 5 hours to realize that, oh, all I was missing was adding gender to this analysis? No. So it's really worth it to talk to that expert, get their feedback. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to check out this other one about why are averages the most misleading things you can do to your data. Thanks for watching.